All right, it's 7:01. I'm going to call the meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Our first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Heather, what's your latest?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, all members of the Board of Selectmen are here. Our first item of business is going to be the approval of the October 22nd and 29th meeting minutes, the special meeting of the 22nd and the special meeting of the 29th.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of the special meetings from October 29 and October 22nd.
Is there a second? Second. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion or corrections?
I would simply point out that in order to approve minutes, it's not necessary that you be in attendance at that meeting,
That is correct.
only that you have reviewed the minutes in order to vote.
That's right. Motion has been made and seconded. Hearing no further discussion or corrections, all in favor of, I'm sorry, did you do the 22nd or the 29th?
I did them both.
Both.
Okay. All in favor of the special meeting minutes together, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public participation. This is one of two opportunities for members of the public to address the Board of Selectmen. I'm first going to give anybody who's here in the room an opportunity, and if anybody joins us online, I will give them the same. If you would like to address the board, please state your name and your address, and then state your business. Is there anybody who would like to address the board? Asking a second time? Asking a third time? There will be another opportunity to address the members of the Board of Selectmen towards the end of the meeting. Nobody has joined us online, so we'll move on from there. A couple of communications. They're not new. They're the same ones that were on your agenda from 2 nights ago. One, the town staff retreat is tomorrow. All members of the Board of Selectmen are invited to that if they're able to join. I talked to you all individually and together about the 2025 CCM conference. CCM is also offering in January a newly elected officials workshop. The information for that is in your packet as well. So turning now to, we have no resignation, so we'll turn to reappointments. We have 2. First one is to reappoint Carla Bagdikian as a member of the Historic Preservation Commission as a regular member for a term expiring on November 20th, 29. Is there a motion?
I would move to appoint Carla Bagdikian to the Historical Preservation Commission as a regular member for a term expiring November 2029.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And Michael Kowalski as a regular member of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I'll make a motion to approve Michael Kowalski for the Planning and Zoning Commission, regular member for a term expiring December 1st, 2029.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. We do have a new appointment. Mystica Davis has stepped forward to fill a vacancy as a zoning board of appeals alternate for a term expiring November 16th of 27. Is there a motion?
I don't have it in front of me, but I'll make a motion to accept Mystica Davis's application for the
CBA alternate,
CBA alternate with the, when does it expire?
November 16, 27.
2027.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We have a couple of housekeeping things that we need to do to kind of pick up between the transition from the last Board of Selectmen and this one. So by way of background, every bargaining unit under the town's employment has an appendix to the town pension that governs what their pension benefits are. That includes town employees, WPCA employees, and Board of Education employees, all within their respective bargaining units. There is a new union that has formed within the Board of Education's jurisdiction for school nurses. They do not have have an appendix as of yet. So one of those needs to be negotiated. In order to negotiate that, we need to establish a negotiating team, which typically consists of a member of the Board of Selectmen, a member of the Pension Board, a member of the Board of Finance, and a member of whatever management that particular union falls cognizance to. So in this case, the Board of Selectmen needs to appoint a negotiating team member to negotiate the pension appendix that governs school nurses. Anything you want to add to that?
Nope.
Okay. Is there anybody who'd like to do it? I would love you to do it because you're our pension chair. Anybody? Would anybody else like to do it?
When are they starting?
I have no idea. Soon, because we have to, but soon.
Might be a little much, but if nobody else wants to do it, I will do it, but perfectly willing to let somebody give it a crack.
When do they usually meet? Like what, are they afternoon meetings generally, or are they?
Typically, the
Okay.
negotiations take place during business hours. I'm not sure if that will be the case with this one because we don't deal with the school employees very often. But typically it's a during the day thing.
Okay. I can't do
Is there a motion?
If we appoint Alan Baker.
it. I'll second.
All in
the
favor?
Negotiation.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, Alan, for stepping up again. Your experience is appreciated. We also have to appoint a new selectman member as a member of the clerical union negotiation team. Keith had been the member there. Full disclosure, he had never attended, but we still need to have a seat, a representative of the Board of Selectmen fill that seat. So that union is, we've had two negotiation sessions already. There's probably 2 or 3 to go. But they're moving quickly. That'll probably be wrapped up by the end of the year. I would like to have another selectman appointed to that team.
When do they meet?
I can tell you when our next one is. A second.
I'm assuming it's during business hours.
Yeah, but that one might be later during business hours. Let me just check. It is. It's researchable.
December 4th.
Is it December 4th?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have that time. I'm glad you mentioned that. What time is that?
I have 2 to 5.
2 to 5. Okay. So there you go. It's a little bit later in the day.
Much as I'd like to nominate Alan again,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no this
I'll
time.
volunteer for it.
You'll do it.
Yeah.
Make a motion to appoint Rick to the clerical union negotiating team member.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, folks. Okay, next up, we have a presentation from our Public Works Director, who's going to give us an overview on the condition of of town roads as prepared by a consultant that we used to do we hired to do an evaluation. Good evening, Mr. Norton. How are you doing? I might need to interrupt you at 7:30 to do.
Oh, I'm gonna be done.
We'll see about that.
I'm gonna be tough. I promised I would not read the whole book to someone. I know you got these in the email. Well, I got their stuff attached.
Okay.
Basically, we hired Beta. A well-known firm in the pavement management industry. And what you have is just a little overview. They basically drove the 71.44 miles of centerline miles of road in the town, and they utilized the Violytic software, and they captured an image every 10 feet of the 71.4 miles of road that they drove. They use those images, they analyze using algorithms of AI technology to identify cracking, potholes, depressions, and any patching. They in the report, you'll see that they've come up with a road surface rating for every 10-foot segment of the road. And to bring all of our roads up to wonderfulness, it's $12.76 million if we were to do it all next year.
Can I interrupt and ask a quick question on that? The last time this was done, which I know was 10 or 15 years ago, do you remember what that number was then? My recollection is it was higher than that.
It was-
Honestly,
That at home, I think, last time it was done, I was on the Board of
Yeah.
Selectmen, and it was about the same.
I was gonna say, I thought it was around $12 million
Okay.
for some reason, like that's jogging my memory.
Number was the same, that RSR was the same too, it's overall 70, somewhere in that range, actually maybe like 65 or something.
So if you go to the figure on page 4, it'll show you the projected RSRs based on annual funding. Depending on how much money you want to put into the roads every year and what we can do. So, as I said, I'm not going to read the whole book. However, behind it, and I'm going to just mention at your leisure, really, if you wanted to go through it and read it, because there's not enough time to go through 100 and something pages. But if you as individuals review it and you want to swing by the office sometime, give a call or something, be happy to go over it with anybody. In the interest of saving time tonight. However, behind the actual document, there are 3 other pieces of information. The one that does not say fiscal year 2026 CIP proposed, which looks like this. This is a document that the consultant put together. I asked him to put together a list of what they would recommend if we were to receive $5 million in bonding. And that is what this document recommends. And there's different treatments, different types of treatments on different roads, depending on the shape of the roads as they exist today. The other one that says FY 2026 CIP proposal is what I proposed to the CIP committee for this year, which was $903,000, which likely won't happen, but it's a number. In the last page, as you're reading through the document and you're in particular looking at these pages here, they're recommending different types of treatment. So I tried to put together a sheet for you to help you understand what those different treatments might be. As you read through the document and see that, we have reconstruction, which is basically full depth. You take out everything that's there, put in new gravel, processed stone, pavement. So these basically go the worst case scenario and the most amount of money to do, down to the ones where you're putting a fog seal or a rubber chip seal or a cape seal, which is much less expensive and will preserve the better roads, keep them in, you get more of a little better wearing surface, and it'll preserve the longevity of the road. So.
At a point in time, many years ago, we owned a piece of equipment jointly with the town of Ellington that was supposed to be used for road maintenance.
For patching, we still do.
You do?
We still do, yeah.
So I'm looking at your pavement repair methods list. Is that what the hot in place recycling?
No. It is, the machine is it's a recycler, if you will, but it's small amounts of pavement. You put in the old blacktop, and you got to add some emulsion to it, and you can put in curbs and what have you, pieces of curb. And basically that's used for small patches, or if you wanted to put a little piece of curb in or something like that. It's really meant for real basic maintenance. You know, if you wanted to, if you had a pothole, instead of just filling the pothole, if you cut it out and put the nice hot material in there, which you can get, that way you can get hot material all year round instead of using coal patch, which, you know, everybody claims theirs is the best, but none of it lasts. Oh.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, that's basically what I wanted to do tonight, let you know we went through the process and give you a copy of the document and answer any questions if you had them, or give you an opportunity. I know it's a lot to look at. Give you an opportunity to look at it, and if you had any questions at all, see me or call me or whatever. Door's always open. To the back of the building.
I understand. Questions or comments for Lynn? Everybody knows everything they want to know about roads?
We'll look it over and we'll talk about it more. We'll come budget time.
Hopefully soon. All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes. Video message is coming up at text. Say okay.
I just want to make sure there's nobody in the room.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Lynn. Is Melissa Maltese here? Melissa, we have 8 minutes. You think you can get through the 5310 grant? All right, floor is yours.
Good evening. Congratulations on your appointment. So I'm here before you tonight to ask for the town's permission to accept the 5310 grant from the state of Connecticut for our next senior bus. We submitted the application at the beginning of last year, and we have been awarded up to 80% to the cost of a new bus. We're looking to replace a 2019 passenger vehicle that has 50,000 miles on it, and would do the Public Works would do the process of then selling that vehicle to put the money back into replace the match that we're asking for tonight. So approximately 20% match is usually around $30,000. The last vehicle we purchased was in total $137,898. And that was in 2024. So the estimate that they're giving us right now is about $156,000 to purchase this bus. So we would be responsible for 20% of that, which is a little over $31,000. So
Questions or comments for Melissa?
We have that 20% in CIP.
Already.
already,
The money's already.
the match is already set aside. We ask for it every year in CIP.
Okay.
And the money that from selling vehicles goes into the facility line or the vehicle line.
And this all, the grant, you said the last time you got it was 2024, so you fill out the grant, it says this is a 2024 grant, so does it take that long for it to, that on here it said 2024?
Yes, so they're not always funded every year. You don't get selected every year.
Okay.
We do try to apply every year. The last one we applied for was for the 2024 grant cycle, so we were awarded a 2025 Ford
Okay.
for that.
And what do you anticipate the date of delivery to be? If we went ahead and did that, like how long from this point to when you
So
actually?
the procurement meeting is in January, and then it could take up to a year
Okay.
to get it.
DOT is honest though about either.
They wanted it, yeah, they wanted the grant signed on November 14th.
I saw that. Okay.
Anything? No, nothing. Gentlemen? May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion that we accept the acceptance certification document for the 5310 grant and authorize the first selectman to sign it.
Is there a second? Second. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. Let's use this as an opportunity to break for the town meeting. May I have a motion to recess the Board of Selectmen's meeting until after the conclusion of the town meeting?
So move.
Second. Made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 7:20, or I'm sorry, we are recessed at 7:21 PM. All right, it is 7:30. I'm going to call the town meeting to order. Our first item of business is the election of a moderator. Is there a motion?
Make Jason Bowser moderator.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Motion has been made by Alan Baker, seconded by Paul Anderson. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Move the nominations be closed.
Motion has been made to close nominations. Is there a second? Motion has, Patricia Sherry, Paul Anderson. Motion has been made and seconded to close nominations. Is there discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of closing nominations, please say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of Jason Bauza as the moderator, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. I'm now going to ask the town clerk to read the town meeting public notice. Madam Clerk.
Town of East Windsor Public Town Meeting Notice. The legal voters of the Town of East Windsor are hereby warned that a town meeting will be held in the John Daly Jr. Meeting Room, Town Hall, 11 Rye Street, Broadbrook, Connecticut, on Thursday, November 20th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. for the following. To consider and vote on authorizing an appropriation of $108,000 to be paid from the interest accrued from the town's American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, allocation, and a supplemental appropriation from the unassigned fund balance of the general fund in the amount of $100,000 for the purchase of an ambulance. Said funds will be granted to the East Windsor Ambulance Association, Inc., solely for the purpose of an ambulance to be used for a public purpose. Specifically, the ambulance shall be dedicated to emergency medical services for town residents and visitors and utilized in coordination with municipal safety operations. The association shall be responsible for ongoing maintenance, normal wear and tear, fuel costs, insurance costs, and other items necessary to protect the interests of the town and the ambulance. The ambulance shall be titled, insured, and deployed by the association in a manner that ensures primarily municipal service. The ambulance shall revert back to the town in the event that it is not used for a public purpose or the association is sold, transferred, dissolves, or becomes insolvent. The grant for the purchase of the ambulance shall be in a formal document as determined by the town attorney. Dated at East Windsor, Connecticut, this 12th day of November, 2025. East Windsor Board of Selectmen. Jason E. Bauza, First Selectman. Richard Laborious, Selectman. Robert Leach III, Selectman. Alan Baker, Selectman. Heather Spencer, Selectman.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now I'm going to read the eligibility to vote. This is from Connecticut General Statute, Section 7-6. At any town meeting other than a regular or special town election, or at any meeting of any fire, sewer, or school district, or any other municipal subdivision of any town incorporated by any special act, any person who is an elector of such town may vote, and any citizen of the United States over the age of 18 years or more who jointly or severally is liable to the town, district, or subdivision for taxes assessed against him on an assessment of not less than $1,000 on the last completed grand list of such town, district, or subdivision, or who would be so liable if not entitled to an exemption under Connecticut General Statutes, subdivisions 17, 19, 22, 23, 25, or 26 of Section 12-81 may vote unless restricted by the provisions of any special act relating to such town, district, or subdivision. Would the gentleman who has resolution number 1 kindly state the resolution?
Item number 1, to consider and vote on authorizing an appropriation of $108,000 to be paid from the interest accrued from the town's American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA allocation, and a supplemental appropriation from the unassigned fund balance of the general fund in the amount of $100,000 for the purchase of an ambulance. Said funds will be granted to the East Windsor Ambulance Association Incorporated solely for the purpose of an ambulance to be used for a public purpose. Specifically, the ambulance shall be dedicated to emergency medical services for town residents and visitors and utilized in coordination with municipal safety operations. The association shall be responsible for ongoing maintenance, normal wear and tear, fuel costs, insurance costs, and other items necessary to protect the interests of the town in the ambulance. The ambulance shall be titled, insured, and deployed by the association in a manner that ensures primarily municipal service. The ambulance shall revert back to the town in the event that it is not used for a public purpose, or the association is sold, transferred, dissolves, or becomes insolvent. The grant for the purpose of the ambulance shall be in a formal document as determined by the town attorney. I move the foregoing resolution be adopted.
Bill Lewis, 44 Melrose Road. I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Before I ask for discussion on the resolution, I'm going to recognize Ambulance Chief Chuck Rude, since this initiative was brought forward at the request of the Ambulance Association. Chief Rude.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out. I just want to speak on behalf of East Windsor Ambulance Association and express and explain what we have done and what we continue to do and what we always want to do for the town of East Windsor. We are an association, we're a nonprofit organization, and we support the infrastructure of public safety for emergency medical service in the town of East Windsor. And we've done this for 47 years and we continue to do it. And we look forward to continuing to do it in the future. We responded to 2,297 calls within East Windsor, 860 of them being in Broadbrook and 1,437 calls in Warehouse Point. And this was in the fiscal year of 24-25. Out of those calls, we did do mutual aid calls to other services, and we always will do mutual aid calls, as every other service in police and fire always do mutual aid. That's cornerstone of public safety. The time that we stop doing mutual aid is the time that we won't get mutual aid when we need assistance. So mutual aid is an extremely important aspect to any public safety. We also have a callback system within our association. So we staff 3 ambulances for your town, 2 of them are 24/7 paramedic units. One of them is 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is sometimes paramedic and sometimes EMT, if it moves back and forth. So at times you have 3 paramedic units covering your town. And there's multiple times that there's multiple calls that happen in this town, where one ambulance will go out on a call in town and another ambulance will go out and call in town. And that's why we structure our system the way we do, is to make sure that East Windsor is covered appropriately, and we have that service for you. So about a year and a half ago, I approached the town and the Board of Selectmen, and we started negotiating an MOU, and I asked them for, $250,000 to continue to support us in our ventures going forward. And they explained that, that was very hard with the way everything works within your system in East Windsor. And so I said, okay, what else can we do there? And we went back and forth and we had executive session meetings, and that's what we discussed in those meetings. We discussed on how the town could help us, how we can continue to help the town. And so we came to the resolution of this option. So that's why we're here today for that. I just want to also bring up that over the years, as you all are aware, that costs keep going up with everything, and your grocery store costs keep going up. The same with medical supplies. Medical supplies are just outrageous. They keep rising. Vehicle expenses like our liability insurance and general vehicle insurance keep rising, along with operational expense, vehicle expense. Now, our rates that we bring in, what we bill the insurance companies is a set rate from the state of Connecticut, DPH. We have no say on that. That's just the way it is. They give us a rate and that's what we go with. We bill at that rate. So for example, I'm just going to throw out some numbers to you real quick so you understand. A BLS rate that DPH says we can bill at, and this includes mileage, and mileage I set at right now for this example is 16 miles. So a BLS rate, we can bill $1,386. We bill that, we never, ever, ever get that. And the reason why we don't get that is insurance companies from Medicaid to Medicare to third-party insurances, they just don't pay that. They absolutely don't pay that. Medicaid pays us $450 to $500 a call. That's it. Last year, with the way we billed and everything, we had to write off $1,030,000 and change just in Medicaid. Okay, and that's doing 859 bills to Medicaid. That's how many times we billed Medicaid last year. Medicare, we billed them 1,755 times. They give us a rate, they pay us $500, and then they tell us if that person has a copay. And we can go and submit a bill to them for $200 or $300, depending on what Medicare says for the copay. So roughly $800, and that gives or take for that call that's billed at, 1,300. And if it's an ALS call, 1,800. We never see that. So last year in Medicare, we had to write off 1,538,000 and change. So we are always behind the 8 ball when we're doing our billing. So we're not ahead of the game, because even though the state says that we can bill at a certain rate, we never, ever get that rate. Never. Third-party insurance, it all depends on what your plan is. If your plan pays $800, then your deductible, they push off the rest onto you, which usually people will do a payment plan with us for $20 a month until it's paid off. So that's financially, I just want you to understand our position on how we get money in. Now, if you look at the surrounding communities around us and what they offer to their EMS systems, which every single town around you gives something to their EMS systems for the service they provide, a very highly needed service in your community. There's 2 areas that pay over $700,000 to $800,000 a year for one paramedic in a fly car. One paramedic in a fly car. That's what that town pays to that service, private service. And, there's another service that just paid over $900,000 to buy their nonprofit organization 5 ambulances. So this goes on. It's not unheard of in the world we're in. So I'm asking you to help us, and so we can always be there and help you when you're in the time of need. Like, we've been there for 47 years and we want to be there for another 47 years. So that's why I'm here asking you guys to please vote in favor of this. Please vote to help us so we can help you and continue to help you. There's a lot of stuff out there, and you've probably seen stuff on social media. I stopped reading it, to be honest. I can tell you that we are moving forward. We have some great plans. We're in the process of applying, or we actually already applied to OEMS to go to an advanced level. That's a 3rd level. So right now we have EMT level, we're applying for advanced level, and we have paramedic level. So the advanced level is in the middle of both of these guys. They can do a lot of different medications and stuff like that. So we're making our organization even stronger for you guys to take care of you. And by doing that, we need certain things. And we're going to be moving our structure around to better cover the town. So that's why you see certain things, you've seen things pop up about, different vehicles and stuff. Yeah, I'm moving stuff around, and I have a plan in the future to better cover you with paramedic coverage and advanced coverage. So that's my whole plan for the future. I look forward to continue to help you and serve you and support the town. And our organization, that's all what we're all about. We want to help. And we're just looking for you for a little bit help back. That's all we are. Again, we are a very vital infrastructure of your public safety. We provide emergency medical service for you when you need us. We're there 24/7, snow, rain, hurricane, whatever, we're there. So I just turn to you and I ask you for your support in helping us with this generous offer that's been made. And I ask you guys, please, to help us with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Is there any other public comment? Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Paul Anderson, 89 Main Street, Broadbrook. I have seen as many as 3 ambulances come down Main Street at one time. If you only got 3, that means the rest of the town is in trouble, my opinion. I've had the unfortunate circumstances of having to call for an ambulance 2 times. Both times, it's been almost instantaneous. One of those times, it took me 3 years to go through the state insurance commissioner's office to force the insurance company to pay the bill they were supposed to pay. It's nonsense. So, he's right. They don't get the income they bill. I know that for a fact. Took 3 years to pay. It's dumb. Okay. And I know if I need an ambulance, I want to have one available. I guess our only other option is if we don't want to do this, then I guess you can sit home and die, because that's your options. If nobody can show up, you're done. It doesn't make any sense. This is a nickel dime thing in the sense of our $47 million expenditures every year for this town. So this is almost nothing. I can't imagine anybody saying no. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there other public comment? Yes, in the back. Name and address, please.
Bill Symes, 72 Windsorville Road. I'd just like to speak to the fact that I value the East Windsor Ambulance Association, the service they provide to this town. The town does give them some generous support through our budget every year. And I have no problem with what we talked about today, the purchase of a new ambulance. The other side of me does have a slight problem because I'm afraid we may set a precedent in granting money to outside organizations. And that's something I don't believe this town has really done much in the past, if they've ever done in the past. So I am very much in support of this, but the other side of me does say that we may set a precedent here that I don't know if we want to go down that road. So just my thoughts. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there other public comment? Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
You just said there has been precedent. This. So if that wasn't being done, they would have to get it done. So it's there. The East Windsor Housing Authority, although they're separate from the town, they have people elected to that board. We also help them out, even though they're considered a private entity, with their property taxes. The property taxes, legal payment, and every May they come in and provide their financials, and we make a decision on whether or not we're going to lower that for them in order for them to meet their other needs out there. And that's just a few to name. Verified. I did do more research. I could find some years ago that we have done. I consider Rice Road a frequent flyer road. They're just about every other week for somebody on the road. Multiple times. The last time I utilized them with my family members, I was told you're lucky the East Windsor took your family member here. They have one of the best ambulance relationships around. If we don't service them and they don't have that extra money to do other things that needs to be done, I'm concerned that the only alternative that I see if we don't help them is that we go to a private entity. And if we go to a private entity, and have to pay for the ambulance full-time for that agency, we're not gonna be able to afford it as a town. Right now, the money that's allocated, for this is being allocated on money that's already been put into the tax base for this year. So it's not gonna do anything, to increase that tax base. And it's also a one-time thing. I think I read someplace on Facebook, somebody was questioning whether or not it was gonna be over and over and over again. It's a one-time request to help them out. Not to say that they're not gonna come back later on. Nothing, you can't foresee the future. But the precedent has been set. I personally think that us helping out the ambulance association, is a must for this town in order to keep them here. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Alan Baker, Rice Street. I'd just like to say, I think everybody in this room probably knows that we have a pretty unique situation here and a level of service that most towns don't get. And at the price that we get it at is pretty amazing. Yes, we do help them out a little bit. It's a pittance compared to what other towns are spending, and we get a premium product. This is an investment in their future and in our future. Just today, I was looking to see what other towns would pay. If we were to lose this opportunity that we have, this service that we have, what we would pay. So the town of Chester this year signed a contract with a professional ambulance service for $75,000 a month. That's $900,000 a year. Now they're looking to go from a 17-minute response time to a 10-minute response time. I think we have a much better response time than that already. Now, if we had to do this, Chester has 3,700 people. We have 11,000. We can expect to spend well over $1 million just for this service. We're just spending now nothing, basically, on a yearly basis. We allow them to park their vehicles in our building that already is in use anyway, and their people stay there, and that gives us a quick response time because we have an ambulance service in our town. So I think not supporting them, not giving a little bit here and there to foster this service is penny wise and pound foolish. And we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot if we didn't help out every now and then. I'm 100% in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there other public comment? Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
Joan Nordell for Spencer. My question is, since when does the town of East Windsor give out grants? It says it's a grant here.
So is that question addressed to me? I'm happy to answer it.
Okay,
So it was pointed out, we do give out an annual grant to both libraries in town. That's been the case for many, many years. The town in 2020 administered the Erase Grant, which went to 119 small businesses and nonprofits, utilizing the same monies that we're drawing off of here. So this is in no way unprecedented. Governments give out grants.
so anybody could apply for a grant or any service or whatever organization in town.
If a grant is offered, there is nothing stopping anybody who is eligible from applying for it. Whether or not they're awarded that goes through the same review process and the same approval process that the Erase Grant did and that this would.
Okay. I just never heard of the town giving out grants before.
Is there other public comment? Yes, sir. Name and address.
44 Melrose Road. As a volunteer fireman, 69 years in this town, the ambulance has always been there for us. Last year, we responded to over 800 calls. 70% of those were medical calls. Even though the fire department, a lot of times, it's the first one on the scene, the ambulance is the one that does the transport. So the ambulance is a very asset to the town of East Windsor. And I support giving them a new ambulance.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Is there other public comment? I saw another hand, I think, over here. Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
James Barton, 108 Main Street, East Windsor. Couple of those things that were mentioned by Library Association and the other stuff is totally different than this. Those grants go through the regular budget process. This is not going through the regular budget process. So I'm here speaking directly to the taxpayers of East Windsor. Because what's being proposed is outrageous. We are being asked to use taxpayer money to purchase a brand new ambulance for a private, non-municipal organization, the East Windsor Ambulance Association. Let's make one thing also clear. This is not about the emergency medical services they provide. This is about the process, the lack of planning, the lack of transparency, and the lack of fiscal responsibility that brought us to this point. Executive session meetings, unfunded capital purchases, no long-term planning, and now last-minute requests for taxpayers to bail out a private agency. And we have to talk about the timeline because it matters. East Windsor several months ago had months to request this funding. They could have requested to be considered in the capital expenditure line. They could have requested to be included in the East Windsor annual budget. You say you're working on an MOU. I'm not really sure what's taking so long. This was last November that we went through these expenses when they knew they couldn't pay their dispatching fees and the fire department had to pay them for them. They had every opportunity to follow the correct, transparent, fiscally responsible, and they didn't. And now, because the failed plan, taxpayers are being forced and rushed into a decision to make a purchase they already knew they couldn't afford. This is not responsible government. This is not transparency. And this is not how taxpayer money should be handled. Let's go through the facts. I just went through November. Can't pay for dispatching fees. Fire department steps up, paying for all the medical calls. But instead of adjusting the budget, what's East Windsor do? They order a brand new ambulance, purchase 2 used ambulance, bought a new pickup truck, and purchased a new Tahoe for the chief. All while full knowing that they didn't have the funding. And without taking the proper steps to secure that funding through the established town processes, if you can't pay your basic bills, you don't expand your fleet. If you can't fund your own operations, you don't come to the taxpayers after the fact and ask them to clean up the mess. And improving this doesn't fix today's problem. It creates a dangerous precedent. If the town buys this private agency a vehicle, then every other nonprofit can line up and demand a vehicle. The fire departments could come up and request a fire truck. You gonna deny a fire truck? Is a fire truck not as important as an ambulance? The food pantry could come up. They need a new car. We have a lot of them. Where does it stop? Meanwhile, East Windsor Ambulance already receives enormous taxpayer benefits, free housing, free utilities, free communication infrastructure, all paid for by the town, free dispatching paid for by the fire department. If East Windsor Ambulance wants its EMS to become a municipal department like Enfield, then that discussion needs to happen open with proper planning, budgeting, and accountability, not through last-minute requests, executive sessions, and unfunded capital spending. This is your money, your taxes. your community. I'm urging every taxpayer here tonight to stand up for the process, stand up for the transparency, and stand up for the responsible fiscal management we deserve. East Windsor deserves better than poor planning, hidden meetings, and rushed appropriations. The taxpayers deserve accountability, and tonight's the time we demand it. And I also make a motion that we vote by paper ballot.
Sure. Chief Carl, did you want to offer comments on the town's communication budget, how that's managed?
I second the motion. Paper ballot.
I didn't realize that actually needed a motion. I thought that was direct. Okay, all in favor of a paper ballot, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Chief Carl, can you explain the communications budget, how the costs of that are distributed?
Yes, the communication budget falls under the police department. It's for dispatching service from here, with the ambulance, the EMD, and the other essential things that support the ambulance. It's 49,446 is what we paid this year.
We pay $49,000, and what does that cover?
That covers the dispatching services that we pay to TN dispatch, for them to dispatch the ambulance, do EMD services and other stuff. The question is how they break that out. There's medical calls that both fire departments go through with the ambulance, but the ambulance service is covered by communication budget 49,446.
Thank you, sir. Is there other public comment on the question? Yes, I'm going to ask if anybody for the first time, and then I'll come to anybody for the second time. Is there anybody for the first time? Asking a second time? All right, for the second time, ma'am.
Yeah. Vehicle. In regards to the fire vehicle. There's difference between the ambulance association and the warehouse point fire department. Who's warehouse point fire department is able to tax.
That you force them into it.
Excuse me?
You force them.
I'm going to ask for order, please. The speaker has the floor. If you'd like to speak, I'll recognize you next.
They need a new vehicle. They can put it in their budget and their residents of that side of town can vote whether or not they want it, they don't want it. Where the ambulance association doesn't have that taxing ability. And my point is on the taxing ability, it's not to get into a childish argument with anybody in the area. But just, I need a clarification from me. That's why I'm bringing it up. Thank you.
For the second time, sir.
Jim Barton, 108 Main Street. So there's two different things. The Warehouse Point Fire Districting is one of them. And the Warehouse Point Fire Department Incorporated is a separate 501(c) company that is just like the ambulance that can come here and ask you for a fire truck. And Broadbrook is the same, they're separate the same way. So that's not true. They don't have the ability to tax. The fire district does, the department does not. On the dispatching, it covers some of the dispatching. It covers the BLS calls, basic life support calls. The fire departments pay for the ALS dispatching, and it pays for the CMED, the emergency medical dispatch. So it's different. It's not the same thing. We're not going to pay for calls that we don't ever go to because the fire department does not go to BLS calls. That's on you.
Thank you, sir. For the second time. Yes, sir.
25 schools. Regarding dispatch, the way I understood it, and I could be wrong, that the town has always paid for the 9/11 dispatching, the EMD aspect because it's 9/11 emergencies within the town of East Windsor. So I understand that the town has always paid that. Correct on that?
Carl?
Yeah, so it's a lot more complicated. So Calhoun County Dispatch changed the model a few years ago, and they started to charge up increment. It is difficult to determine who's being charged for what. Chief Barton is right. They go to ambulance calls. Broadbrook goes to ambulance calls. they are charged, but the ambulance is charged as well. It's not as easy as standing here. I mean, I can stand up for 45 minutes to try to explain this, but at the end, it's going to be as clear as mud. But the town does cover $49,426 inspection RPM for the ambulance. But we're going to be, in a few months, we're going to be back into the same conversation about who goes to what. Well,
Thank you, sir.
it's money.
Chief Rude, anything further? Anyone else for the second time?
Anybody online?
No, there's nobody online. Anybody else for the second time?
Yeah, I'd like to go for a second, third time. Anybody else want to go second?
So I think everybody has had an opportunity to make their points here. A motion has been made, seconded, and voted on to call the question by paper ballot. So what I'm going to do is ask our registrars to come up to the front of the table. I'm going to ask everyone to kindly exit the room and be prepared to re-enter the room with your photo ID. Okay? Yeah. It's 8:51 on a vote of 36 to 31. The resolution at the town meeting was approved. A motion made by Paul Anderson and seconded by Bill Lose at 8:47. The town meeting adjourned and the Board of Selectmen will reconvene at 8:52. The Board of Selectmen is reconvened at 8:53 PM. Our next item of business is the creation of a 250th committee. So there are municipalities all over the country that are formulating local. Oh, shoot. Is Mark still here? I need Mark for that.
Yes, he's in that office over there.
In the meantime, we'll come back to that. So there are communities all over the country that are establishing 250th anniversary celebrations. Quinticentennial, is that what that is? So I wanted to bring forward to the board whether or not we wanted to do the same. I do have a draft resolution that is not in your packet because admittedly I just did it this afternoon. But we can include this on December 4th, or if you guys want to move forward with it, we can take it up now. It is shared on the screen, but let's have a general conversation around, is this something that we want to do? Is it something that we don't feel particularly that we need to do? And then if so, we can take up the resolution subsequent to that. So, I will also say, I think all of you will remember that we did a 200th celebration, 250th celebration for the town in 2018. So we do have kind of a framework for this. What do you want to do?
Are you looking to do that same type of a thing with there's a bunch of different events, there's a parade,
So I had a brief conversation with the president of the Historical Society today, who is interested in doing something kind of through the Historical Society. My thought was we could open this up and invite the Historical Society members to be appointed to this. And thereby linking it to the national effort that's going on, but also giving them an opportunity to take the lead on those festivities. A couple of the comments that he had made that I thought were pretty good. So obviously there would be some sort of a parade of sorts, and we had a really good conversation around when that parade would take place relative to the actual anniversary, because the resolution by Richard Henry Lee to declare independence was put on the table on June 7th. The resolution for independence was announced on July 4th, and the last person to sign it wasn't until August 2nd. So there's a lot of opportunity in there to capture some ground. The other thing he'd suggest parade-wise was, instead of doing what we've done in the past, which is you go from here to the elementary, or to the middle school, or the middle school to here, once the bridge is open again, we could actually start a parade from here and walk to the Historical Society. and capture what was the town's center at a point in time, including our first town hall, which was at Scantic Church. But that was kind of a cool idea. And with the bridge in place, it's not as far of a walk as you think from here.
Ride in something?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking we dress up like the revolutionaries, the breeches and the tricorn hat and it'd be a hoot. And the thought was to do some sort of a speaker series around the process by which the declaration was written. So for example, there was the Committee of Five, which were the five people who actually did the drafting after Richard Henry Lee's proclamation on June 7th. I totally read this today. This isn't stuff that's just hanging out up there. But one of the people who did that was from Connecticut. Roger Sherman was one of the drafters of the declaration. Another one of the five voted against it. There's a guy, he spent a month in the hottest day of Philadelphia, the hottest days of Philadelphia, wordsmithing, only to come out and vote no. It's like
We've seen that before.
there's some, I know. Not too recently, but in the near past. So at any rate, I think you could do some cool stuff around this, particularly if there's an opportunity to kind of partner with area towns. Ellington has one, Coventry has one, Old Lyme has one, Durham and Kent have them. Those are the only ones that I readily found. But that's not to say that's an exhaustive search. It's just, those are the ones that I found. I'm not suggesting it would be a lot of a lift for us, but it might be an opportunity for us to support others who may want to put commemorative activities together. That's the thought.
Would we need a budget for it?
Depends on what they do. So I guess the short answer is maybe. The things I'm talking about, doing a parade that's a de minimis cost. Speakers that could have some cost to it, but probably not a ton. I didn't get the sense from Michael Hunt that they were looking to put on like a week of festivities that, a carnival or anything. I didn't get that sense at all. I thought this was more in the historical premise that he was talking.
I think we should explore it.
I think there'll probably be grants available for this. It should be a huge celebration. Recognition of the Declaration of Independence has a lot of things that most of us would find relevant today in the environment we're in. And I think it's an important thing to do, to celebrate. So,
How many muskets?
yeah, let's move forward.
Heather?
I
Yeah?
think it would be a good idea.
I do.
I like the idea. I think.
I do want to get all of us in colonial gear though.
I was
Even
just
if-
asking him if he had a musket.
Even if it's, and Bob, you might like this. Yeah, I know you're not going to be here for the July 3rd meeting. Maybe that's the one. I'm just saying.
As the old guy here, I used to wear that kind of colonial gear.
I was going to say, we could have asked him what it was like in Philadelphia. Don't have it. Okay, so I do have a resolution that I put together. You guys have not had an opportunity to read it yet. And just even based on the conversation, I think there's some things that I want to tweak in this. So if I could bring this back on the December 4th meeting, I'll kind of fine tune this a bit and then you'll have something you can look at before we vote on something. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll turn now back to the proper call of the agenda. Mr. Simmons, how are you this evening?
Good.
I have a request from the registrar's office for the Elections Systems and Software LLC contract. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Very little.
Fine.
Denise, I spoke with her, and she's ill. She's but she kind of the bill that that was like something somehow this was maintaining tabulators, right? She said the bill is $6,200 for 6 months, and then going to be like then it's going to start a yearly cost after that of $12,000. My problem is when I first got the spreadsheet that this little town of ours was going to have 13 tabulators. And right away, we challenged that. We said 6. And we only use 2 at a time. One's for voting and one is a backup. So that's 4. I couldn't, they appealed to the Secretary of State's office. And they said, we figured it out. You got to take them. And no, I don't understand that. So, well, what I want to know is, I mean, service all of the tabulators for that? I would think that's what they're anticipating. So we've got to look at this closely. I'm going to be there when I was always there when they did the old tabulators. It's not a $6,000 job, these new ones. I'm going to tell them we only used so far in Warehouse Point, District 1, only used 2 tabulators. The rest just sit there.
So we currently have
13,
It's crazy.
For the total town, so it's 6 and 7,
6 and 7.
or 6 and 6 in a backup?
Yeah, all 13, there's 13 at the 10 at the District 1 and 3 here.
And the 13, did you have those for the presidential, or are these new this year?
They're new this year.
Okay.
Yeah. But we only used 1.
So
Backup.
is your recommendation that we table this?
Yes, please postpone it.
Okay.
But I don't know, I'm not sure what the cost is. Does it cost the programming of the sticks? That's
There are costs that are, give me a second, there are costs that are broken out.
Hardware and then there's firmware.
The hardware maintenance is $4,200 and the firmware license and maintenance is almost $2,000.
the hardware maintenance, you said, it's just like dusting it off? What is that? I don't know.
Probably like a warranty if it breaks.
I'm gonna be there. Don't ask. I haven't been able to ask anybody of any importance, why have you got 13? They're just not gonna be used. They showed us how this lens is inside, that's what hardware maintenance is, and it's not worth $6,000. But it's, somebody is playing a game or something. Somebody's making money off this because I don't anticipate, I'm new at the registrar duties. I don't know if we're ever going to use that many tabulators. And I'd rather keep it simplified as possible and use 1 if we only need to use 1. But we have to look into it more, Jason.
Okay, as I'm looking at the agreement, the license and maintenance term runs for the 18 months starting January 1st of 26. So I do see that it basically discounts their cost by 55%.
Yeah.
But if you and Denise want to take a firmer look at this and let us know, I'd be happy to postpone that.
That's what she said.
Okay.
Exactly. Really, we have no control of it. They tell us. We try to say we don't need this many tabulators. They know you get it.
So I understand.
Yeah.
You said you don't need this many.
Yeah.
They made you take them.
Yes.
And now they're making you service them. That is an unfunded mandate.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess it's a discounted mandate, but
Well, is that because it was only for half a year and it starts in July, it's gonna be a whole year?
that's not how I read it, but I might not have read it.
Denise explained it to me that way. Twice said there. It's outrageous to me.
Well,
From July 26 through June 27, it's 1,300. So
We have to use this company?
Yes, and that's yes.
We have to?
The state. All six.
the state gives you the devices. They
Yeah.
make you take the devices. Then they tell you who you gotta use. And then they tell you, and then the company you have to use tells you how much it's gonna cost.
Ridiculous.
It's what it is. So on the recommendation of the registrar, I'd ask for a motion to postpone this until December.
So moved.
Hopefully Denise will feel, she's up on this. She does all the money.
Yeah.
I don't let, my wife does all the money at home. And I don't challenge her. She's good at it. So.
We are being recorded, so I have no comment on the matter. Motion made by Heather to postpone. Is there a second? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, sir.
Sorry, Jason.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Dismissed.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
In your packet is a draft of the budget schedule, or budget calendar by another name. This is the formula that, or the chart, if you will, that we need to follow for the budget process from inception to completion. The green, so everything that's in the actual date column that's white has been updated from last year to correspond with the same dates this year. That's not to say we're married to most of them, but some of them are actually required dates in the charter. The green box is where we need to select our budget workshop schedules. And so we'll have between February 12th and like March 9th, by which we can do our workshops. So what I'd like to do is get those recorded or agreed upon so that we can record those with the town clerk. Are there particular days, and I know we don't have liaison assignments yet, but are there particular days that do not work for people? For example, I greatly prefer to stay away from Tuesdays because of a family commitment, but if there are particular days of the week that don't work, speak up now.
I'm open. I'm more just
Generally open.
time during, the
Oh.
time during the day is more my,
So the budget workshop, thank you for that. The budget workshops typically start at either 5:30 or 6.
Okay.
The exception to that being, well, actually, not really the exception to that. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll do a more robust workshop schedule on a night we have a Board of Selectmen meeting and just carry the workshop into the regular meeting.
Okay.
I think in the past we've done 4. I would suggest we calendar 4.
Okay.
And then if we need to do something else, then we can add that later on, but I'd like to set 4 as our standard.
okay.
So there's a couple of holidays in there. President's Day is the 16th or the 23rd?
16th.
Okay. Do you guys want to do them all at once? Just have one really rough week, or do you want to space them out?
Do you want to do 2 and 2?
We can do 2 and 2. So we would have a BOS meeting on the 19th. So I think the 19th should certainly be one.
Mhm.
And what's the earliest you guys can get here? Is 5:30 doable?
I'm good.
6?
I can make it happen.
5:30 is okay?
6 is better.
6 is better? That means we're going to be here later. Okay, so we'll start,
Yes, but
we'll aim for a 6 o'clock start for our workshops.
Yeah.
All right, so we're looking at 2/19. I would say like, might as well do March 5th because that's another one. How about 2 in between there? You want to do the,
25th?
that's not,
Oh, instead of-
no, we can do that. We can do the 25th.
2:25, 3:05.
And how about one more? Want to do March 4th?
4th and 5th.
So it would be the 29th, 25th of February, the 4th and 5th of March. Does that work for everybody?
Okay.
What?
29th and 25th. I'm sorry,
Said speaker, so if you.
18th and 25th.
Okay.
You would be here, they would be here, but because they have that.
The 19th, the 25th, the 3rd, or the 4th and the 5th.
Okay.
Is that good? Good. Are there any other conflicts that anybody has with our portion of the budget calendar, which is anything from 3/25 earlier?
Motion to adopt.
Yes, please.
Move we adopt the budget calendar as presented with workshops on 2/19, 3/4, 3/5, and 2/25.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just to be clear, 2/25 is a Wednesday, yes?
Yes. 2/25 is a Wednesday. That'll be at 6 o'clock. All of them will start at 6 o'clock. We'll just make it easy that way.
And Jason, you mentioned above there on 2.5, is there a commitment from us on 2.5? Says Board of Selectmen to receive the town budget proposal?
There's not, that is a commitment where I have to have that ready for you. You don't have to do anything other than.
All right, because I would not be able to do anything that day. Okay.
Right. That is my delivery date to the Board of Selectmen and Patrick's delivery date to the Board of Education.
Okay.
It's done, Melissa. That's the town meeting notice for Larissa.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of the budget calendar as adopted?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We need to have an annual town meeting. This is required in the charter. It has to be the general reports of the town departments, of the first selectmen and town departments, and it has to include the town's financials. It has to happen in the month of December. And typically, because of the way the audit process falls, and the printing time in order to get it with the notice requirements, it has to fall, unfortunately, way to the back of December. So I'm wondering if we could schedule the annual town meeting for either. Wait, that's close. I think December 29th, and we just gotta hope that nothing bad happens. So otherwise, it's Christmas week. 29th work?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll have to.
Either that or Christmas.
You want a motion?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to set our annual town meeting for December 29th.
Is there a second?
What time?
Town meetings have to be at 7:30.
I don't know that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. We also need to have a couple of resolutions that need to be adopted at the annual town meeting. Those are included in your packet. The first one is to accept the reports of the first selectman and town treasurer, basically to accept the annual report. That has to happen. That's agenda item 8H1. The second one is to consider an act on the recommendation of the Board of Selectmen that the hours of referenda for the town in the calendar year 26 be set at 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. The statute actually requires that referenda be held between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. unless acted on by the legislative body of the town.
Okay.
We always conduct them from 6 to 8. It's a convenience for voters. We should do that, but we have to vote to do it. The next one is, what is this next one? Okay, this is just a general authorization that municipalities adopt to allow their chief executive officer and finance directors to borrow on behalf of the town in the event that there should be a need for that. As an example, if during the COVID pandemic, if our tax revenue, if our tax collections had not been appropriate to meet our needs, Amy and I were authorized because of this resolution to borrow to keep the operations of the town going. It does not authorize us to do anything other than to keep the town functioning. As I said, it's pro forma and it's something that every municipality does. The last one authorizes the town to accept and utilize Town Aid Road. We get for Town Aid Road from the state $263,000. that offsets in the town's road maintenance fund, the monies that we put in there. We can never have less in our road maintenance line than what we get in town aid road. But we also can't use town aid road and accept it without having that resolution in place. Those are the four pro forma things that we typically do at a town meeting. At this point in time, I don't have anything else that would have to come up for the annual town meeting, but I would have another meeting or so to decide that if something were to come up. I don't anticipate that happening. So I would ask for a motion to move those resolutions to the annual town meeting. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. Tax refunds. May I have a motion?
Make a motion to accept the tax refunds in the amount of $2,633.34.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Alan, seconded by Bob. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Great. Okay, selectmen's report. Start share. Okay, on November 13th, I had a really fun opportunity. And this is the second year I've had the opportunity to do this, but I went to East Windsor Middle School and I joined their student government for their congratulatory breakfast. Their parents came, their grandparents came, and I actually administered to them the oath of office for their roles as members of the East Windsor Middle School student government. It's a really cool thing to do. I think certainly the parents like it. I think the kids like it too. But I found it to be kind of refreshing in a way, just like when I talked, well, you guys, most of you weren't here. In September, I had an opportunity to meet the Connecticut kid governor. And long story short, I got to meet the kid governor and a couple of his cabinet members. And they were talking about things like civility and kindness and mental health awareness and treatment. And then coupling that with the students from the student council, and you can't help but have a sense of hope. Like as heavy and hard as the world seems right now, you get the sense that if we can just hang on long enough for these people to start taking over, then we're going to make it. We're going to be okay. Things are going to be good. And it just it's a really nice thing for the school district to do. I'm very grateful to be included in it. And I just wanted to share that as something positive to start off. The second half of my week last week and most of the first half of it this week was I dealt with preparations for the continued public hearing for the expansion of gravel pit solar in front of the Connecticut Siting Council. It's a lot of work to put together the town's position on that, and we didn't even get to it. There were so many questions that were asked by the town's attorney, by a couple of the petitioners. Chris Dahl and Robin Chesky did a great job. Nicole Paradise did a phenomenal job. And that ultimately is going to be continued again to a date in December. But that's really what the bulk of, again, the last half of last week and then the first part of this week went towards. I want to talk about a couple of upcoming events. First, town government is going to be closed tomorrow. It's our annual staff retreat. I talked about that earlier. I'm just making sure the general public is aware that the town government will return to normal functionality on Monday during our normal business hours. Now, when I say town government is going to be closed, that does not mean that I'm closing town government. It just means our normal activities are not going to be taking place because we're going to be offsite at a staff retreat. So I'm not closing. Make sure that's well understood, chief. I very much do not like to close things down because there's a ripple effect that is incredibly expensive. So that's happening tomorrow. Also tomorrow night, the town is hosting a first responder bingo, which will be from 5:30 to 7 at the community center. All of our first responders are invited to attend. It's a great way of, well, we hope it's a great way of bringing people together and celebrating the work that they do for the community and having a little bit of fun. Especially since on Saturday, the town will be hosting our second townwide emergency management drill. And that Deputy Chief Murphy has taken the lead in designing that. That is a tremendously beneficial event. It's something really, really awesome to see unfold. And in a live action environment, it brings all of our emergency disciplines together to drill out scenarios that they don't know what's coming. The police chiefs, the fire chiefs, the EMS director are the ones who know what's happening. And for everybody else, it's blind. So it's a great opportunity to see, like, how would you react if this happened? What about this curveball? Really, it's a tremendous thing. And I want to congratulate our police leadership for running point on that. Then next Saturday, the 29th, the police union is going to hold their annual Stuff a Cruiser benefit. And what they do is they go down to Walmart between the hours of 8 and 4. They collect a tremendous amount of toys and then they donate it to community services. And Melissa Maltesi and her team use that to help distribute to the less fortunate folks in our community. So I want to thank the police union for their role in that. And I want to recognize the community who always steps up in a very big way to support that. That's another great event. That'll be on the 29th from 8 to 4 at Walmart. I want to note that the sidewalk project in Broadbrook Village has been completed. We either installed or replaced about 2 miles of sidewalks, and it came out absolutely beautifully with nary a problem to be had. So I want to congratulate Public Works for a good job managing that project. And finally, as I said in the part of my phone call tonight that I think got cut off, the town of East Windsor is asking for donations again for hams and $25 gift cards, which will go towards the food distribution that we do for the Christmas holiday. If anybody would like to make a donation, you can do that at the community center during normal business hours. That's all I have, and I'll turn to Rick.
As a brand new member of the Board of Selectmen, I think I'll defer my report until I have something to report. So I'll be happy to bring everybody up to date on activities next meeting.
All right.
No report.
Nothing.
Mr. Leach. Same here. I'll talk you guys into slumber here. Okay, we do have another public participation. This is a second opportunity for members of the public to address the Board of Selectmen. Same rules as before. I'd ask that if you'd like to speak, kindly state your name and your address, state your business, and then I'll provide the same opportunity to anybody who's with us online. Is there anybody who would like to address the Board of Selectmen? Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Paul Anderson, 89 Main Street, Broadbrook. Hang on. Glasses. Okay. Item 8A2. I recommend that be incorporated in our charter. And if we approve the charter, that's our legislative body that approves it, and we would never have to do this again.
They have a meeting next week.
They do.
So that's a thought. Okay, I like to make things streamlined if we can.
I wonder if that's delegable in that way. Let me look that up.
Sorry, it says legislative body, and the town meeting is our legislative body. So, okay, so much for that. Otherwise, I know you guys have been through a fun meeting. And you realize what an easy job this is. And you can look forward to having it even easier in a negative way. But thank you for being here.
Thank you.
That's an interesting idea for the charter revision. I don't read it that it's delegable, but they could look at that for sure. Thank you for your comments, sir. Is there other public participation? The gentleman in the back and then the gentleman seated in front of him. I saw the hands.
Pat and Carl, Chief of Police. I know you might not be able to answer this, but tomorrow's employee retreat, is that when the police department can anticipate getting looking for the haunted highway, bring it back home to its rightful home?
For those of you who don't know, the police department counted the votes this year and they happened to win. But
I said it during voting, but I was clear.
Chief, if, I would be delighted to have you there for lunch and we'll do a presentation and I don't know, I'll do something silly about it, but.
I just didn't know, I was wondering when it was gonna come back to its rightful home, so.
So, as you guys may or may not be aware, the haunted highway is one of those things that grew out of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it was a reaction to you can't go trick or treating and how can we serve the community? And bless you. And over the first couple of years, the police department really stepped up their game. And what that led to is everybody else stepping up their game. And they won for a couple of years and then they were dethroned as they should have been. Now because they have guns and badges, they won again. But it really is a wonderful addition to the community that kind of was born out of necessity and because of the leadership that they've shown and others have followed, it's become a wonderful community event. So in all sincerity, my kudos to you guys because it is a lot of fun. And the rivalry is a lot of fun as well. Deputy Chief Murphy.
So, no, my chief Carl and I worked so well together, he actually stole my thunder, that was going to be my job. I will say a quote from Ricky Bobby from Talladega, you ain't first, you last, so.
Starting levity into this, you actually were also going to talk to us just to take a shot, really? You guys are a good team. Okay, well, that was fun. Is there other public participation? Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
Just to put it out there, my understanding, somebody was out there encouraging people to take part in giving them large candy bars.
Oh, yeah, that's how they roll.
I don't know what happened.
But on a serious, I just want to say thank you, David, for this step forward. And it appears that you guys are going to be able to all work together, and that's a refreshing, bit of news for the town. You don't always have to agree with each other, but at the end of the day, respect each other enough to honor the goal. What happened here tonight with a couple of individuals shouldn't be happening in town meetings. People should be able to speak what they have to say, and they agree or disagree with it without that kind of anger that inspired them. So, kudos to you guys for being part. So, thank you.
Other public comment? Yes, sir. Name and address.
Yes, Wayne Cherry, People Street Road. I just want to comment on ADF, discussion creation. 15th committee. I think there's a lot of history in this town that's being lost because people are keeping the events that they know to themselves and might not think that they're a significant contribution. But I would suggest you try to pull some of that out of the people. You know, there's some people in town that are just going to not be here anymore, and so all their history will be not good. Well, I don't know how you do it. You know, maybe have a contest and have just people, you know, as part of your 250 we're talking about. There's a lot of history.
Yeah.
It really is.
I appreciate the suggestion, and at the risk of volunteering you for another night, if there is a commission, I hope you will consider stepping forward and serving on that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
No, Wayne, that's a great suggestion. Okay, if there's no further public comments, I would ask for a motion to go into, he's with us. I would ask for a motion to go into executive session. The executive session will include Attorney Michael Collins, Attorney Tom Gerard, Attorney Lydia Michaels, Attorney Bob DiCrescenzo, Helen Tots, and Melissa LaBelle. That's on 3 different matters. Heather.
I am going to recuse myself from the West River Farms item.
So noted. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are in executive session at 9:30. All right, it is 10:46. We are out of executive session. Selectman Baker.
I'd like to I'd make a motion to add agenda item 8K under new business.
Okay.
The Kerma and William Mercy settlement.
So is there a second?
Second?
The motion is to add an agenda item to vote on the Kerma Mercy settlement. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? So carried. Taking up agenda item 8K. On the settlement, is there a motion?
I forget the word. I move to, it's not accept. We're going to move to approve the settlement agreement.
Is there a second?
Irma Mercy case.
And authorize the board, authorize first.
And authorize the first selectman to sign.
On the signatory.
second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our next item of business is adjournment. May I have a motion, please?
Move to adjourn.
Motion made by Bob, seconded by Rick. All in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 10:48 PM.
Jason, do you want these?